Today, I'm going to share with you how to partner with your children to develop a schedule that will help them take ownership of their choices around when they learn. I will also talk briefly about how taking this step can support the development of stronger executive functioning skills for all students and reduce anxiety for everyone in the household. I'll then discuss ways you can approach designing specific, trackable goals with your children. This step is vital to the process of child led learning. It will encourage your children to consider and articulate their interests and needs, and it will enable you to play a role of accountability partner in their education. Finally, I'll move through the essential questions you should pose to guide your children through the process of figuring out how they can reach their academic goals they have set for themselves. Hi, my name is Susan Trencansky, and I'm super excited to be sharing strategies you can use to partner with your children to create child-led learning opportunities. I spent 29 years teaching middle school humanities in independent schools where child-led learning was not only the norm, but was celebrated as best educational practice. Over the years, I learned that having a daily and weekly schedule, setting specific trackable goals, and allowing students to take ownership of their learning by deciding how they want to learn content and skills were the three keys to building successful child-led learning practices. There are many benefits to child-led learning. It has been shown to increase student investment in their own education, which improves attention, behavior, skill development, and retention of content. And most importantly, child-led learning nurtures children's imaginations and engages them in the process of discovering who they are now and who they want to become, which is, of course, the point of education, right? Let's start by learning how to engage your children in the process of developing routines that will set them up for success. First, if you do not already own one, get a large desk or wall calendar. For elementary age children, you might find greater success if you stick with a simple Sunday through Saturday calendar. For middle and high school students, you could opt to get a blackboard or whiteboard calendar that your child can erase and reuse every month, or you might create a paper 12-month calendar of your own. Of course, you can always take your child to a store or go online to select and purchase one. Including your children in this first step of the process will provide you with an opportunity to engage your children in a conversation about what specific attributes make certain calendars more useful than others. For instance, larger boxes with dates already printed in will in all likelihood work best for the task at hand. Allowing your children to be part of the decision process also serves to foster a sense of ownership of the calendar, and perhaps will be an opportunity for them to select a design, font, or color scheme they like. Once you have a calendar, sit together and write in the non-negotiable activities, by which I mean any activity in or outside of the home for which the scheduled time is set by someone else. Chances are that your children are already enrolled in a mix of activities like music lessons, sports, theater, and art classes, all of which are scheduled by the instructor, team, or organization running the activity. Non-negotiables can also include any academic subject commitments like online classes, tutoring, or enrichment opportunities that occur on specific days at prearranged times. On the calendar, you should arrange the activities for each day in chronological order in each box, leaving spaces in which to add the other activities. If your child has a math tutor at 10 a.m., you can write that closer to the top of the box. A dance class from 4 to 6 p.m. could then be written toward the bottom of the box to allow room for activities that fall earlier in the afternoon and later in the evening. I also strongly suggest that you write each of these activities in a different color pen or pencil. For instance, you might use green for cello lessons, blue for soccer, and red for library programs. Once you have written in the non-negotiable activities, you are ready to partner with your child to incorporate the academic work and activities that can be done at any time of the week. These include academic work like self-guided learning, independent reading, research, and projects, as well as other activities like outdoor time, quiet play, chores, practicing an instrument, any creative work like writing or art, and spending time with friends. To start this part of the process, Work with your child to make a list of all the things that need to get done each day, and then create another list of things that it would be nice to make time for each day. Once your need to do and nice to do lists are done, estimate the amount of time each item might take and record it next to the item. An example might be that you know your child wants to dedicate an hour each day to independent reading. So you would write 60 minutes next to that item on the list. Finally, you can think together about how to fit the items on the need list and at least a couple items from the nice list into the schedule for each day of the week. You should do this in pencil and only for the first 4 weeks. This is the most important part of the process because you can learn a lot about how your child experiences their days by asking them when they prefer to do certain subjects and why. Your child might prefer to tackle subjects that require more focused attention in the morning, or you might find that they need a bit more time to ease into the day before doing work they perceive to be more challenging. Remember, this is an opportunity for your children to learn how to prioritize, compromise, and articulate their needs and preferences. The first month is an experiment to see how their plan works. And then, after you have both had 4 weeks to see how the routines play out, you can tweak the schedule for the next month. While it will be really tempting to switch something right away the first time it doesn't seem to work, I caution against it. Your child is learning to set up, practice, master, and evaluate routines. You want to give them a chance to increase their comfort level with the schedule in order to help them better evaluate its merits and imagine improvements for the next month. Daily and weekly shifting based on what they feel like doing at any given moment isn't going to help them in the short or the long run. The obvious benefits of doing this calendar activity with your children are that it teaches them important executive functioning skills around how to make decisions about what they do and when they do it. This system is particularly helpful for students who struggle to stay on task and for those who experience anxiety around decision making and organizing their time, because it provides a structure they need to accommodate their learning needs while reducing the mental load around how to organize their time on a daily and weekly basis. Another added benefit for all students and their families is that when students have an increased amount of choice, their investment in academics and activities generally improves measurably. Also, having predetermined daily and weekly schedule also eliminates daily conversations about what to do and when, because everything is already scheduled. One of the challenges that I often hear from other parents, and that has been a struggle on and off in my own family, is that honestly, sometimes kids just aren't that excited about learning and seem to want to do nothing, which as a parent can be super frustrating. And then other times, kids present as so excited about learning that they just want to do everything, which might seem great at first, yet it can result in a lot of effort without any authentic progress. The best method you can use to help your children become both engaged and focused in directing their own learning is to help them set a handful of trackable goals. We all know what a goal is, right? A goal is simply a specific, clearly stated result that someone is committed to achieving. Oftentimes in education, it can be challenging to track progress on the types of broad goals students sometimes identify for themselves. How can children tell if they are improving a skill like reading comprehension incrementally? Is it even possible to make a goal that sounds like getting better at math trackable? The answer is yes. We can make a goal trackable by making it super specific and then setting clear measures of progress by defining what success will look like. There are 3 steps to this process. The first is to help your child make a list of areas they want to improve. This might sound very general, like, I want to get better at fractions, reading, writing, science, drawing, and playing piano. Once they have a list, use that to set 3 to 5 goals they want to achieve over a set course of time. High school level learners can focus on progress over the course of a semester or even a year. Middle school age students might focus on a 5, 10 week, or even semester-long period. And elementary learners should focus on 1 to 10 weeks when setting goals. You know your children best, so you can guide them to select a time period that is appropriate for them. Each goal should be really specific. Students will often say that they want to get better at something, so you will need to help them think about what getting better means to them. Exploring this will help you identify what your children's particular challenges are around a skill set. Maybe you will learn that they feel they read too slowly or that it is hard for them to recall what they read. These are two completely different issues, so you can see why it is necessary to drill down a bit to figure out what the real challenge is before you can devise a strategy to address it. A specific goal around a skill like reading might sound like, I want to remember the plot of a story as I read. A specific goal around math might sound like, I want to memorize my multiplication tables. Each of those goals is both specific to a skill and easily measurable for your children. Your children might also be interested in setting goals around a particular interest, such as, I want to know more about the solar system, or I want to know why World War I happened. If so, encourage them to make these specific and trackable. Can you narrow your study to specific questions like, I want to learn about the planets in our solar system, and I want to identify and explore 2 to 4 social and political forces that led to the First World War? Finally, you should ask, how will you know when you've met each goal? Your children can work with you to think about how they can measure their own success. They might say, well, we'll know that I memorized more of my multiplication tables because I will not need to use my calculator or a multiplication chart as often, or maybe not even at all. Or I will know that I learned more about planets when I can name them all, tell you what they are made of, and list them in order from the sun. By helping your children set 3 to 5 specific measurable goals, your children can be part of determining how they want to grow as learners and then experience authentic success that they can track for themselves. The last strategy is exactly what people generally imagine when they hear the term child-led learning, because this will help you guide your homeschooler in deciding how they will learn the content and build the skills they identified through setting their goals. Once your homeschooler has worked with you to determine their goals, you can work together to answer the following questions. First, what resources might you need to reach your goals? Are there books, worksheets, online resources or apps, primary documents, podcasts, or community resources that can help you? For instance, if your child wants to learn a language, could they use Duolingo, buy a workbook, watch a children's program in that language, or find a native speaker to help them? The next question is, how will you demonstrate your learning along the way? This might look like completing an online class, writing an essay about their learning, making a project, or performing a piece of music they learned on their instrument. Next, ask, what potential challenges might you face as you tackle this work, and how might you solve them? Predicting challenges and coming up with strategies to address them ahead of time will keep your children on track and help them stay positive when they inevitably run into obstacles. They may already know how they can work through struggle, and if they have yet to figure that out, acknowledging that learning can be difficult and then having a plan to push through moments of struggle will normalize the hard parts of the learning process and provide them with a structure to fall back on should they feel overwhelmed or frustrated. The next question you should pose is, does your learning schedule have enough time for you to achieve the goals you set out? This is when you look at your calendar. If it doesn't, either reduce the number of goals your child is working toward at this point, or alter the schedule to make more room for the goals that matter to your child. Finally, ask your child why the goals they set matter to them and how they think achieving their goals will help them later in life. Don't skip this part of the conversation because it gives your children a chance to think about what really matters to them now, the person they are working to become, and the ways in which their choices about what they learn can get them to the future they imagine for themselves. Incorporating child led learning is important to your child's educational experience, and it's super easy to do. Get a calendar and create that schedule with your child. Engage and focus your child by developing those 3 to 5 goals with them, and then use my essential guiding questions to help your child identify resources, plan a way to measure progress, predict challenge, strategize ways to push through hard moments, carve out enough time, and consider how they will benefit from achieving the goals they've set for themselves. If you'd love a form you can use for your need to do and nice to do lists, and a worksheet to guide you through the goal setting process I described in this video, you can find those for free on my website at www.curriculumfix.com. These fabulous freebies will help you make it easy to put the ideas I've offered into action with your homeschoolers this school year.